forever.
As far as sequels go, many Disney fans believe most fail to top the original. I can see where they're coming from, as original Disney films usually become near and dear to the audience. Despite this, I find myself increasingly excited by the promotional material for Moana 2. The story promises to introduce an entire cast of new characters ranging from vengeful gods to Moana's sweet younger sister, Simea. Unlike most sequels that create generic adventures for the original heroes, Moana 2 feels like an expansion of the original world, complete with high stakes and meaningful character designs. Simea's character is especially exciting because not many Disney princesses receive new relatives after their initial adventure. Simea's creation leads me to believe she'll have a significant role in the sequel, and in today's video, I'll discuss the evidence that supports this theory.
The ocean connects us. There is nowhere I could go that I won't be with you.
Number 1. Moana's heart. The original Moana film followed Moana and Maui's journey to restore Te Fiti's heart. Moana kept the heart within her grandmother Tala's necklace. Moana returns Te Fiti's heart, thus breaking the curse and saving her people. However, she keeps the necklace that once housed the object. The jewelry likely has sentimental value, helping Moana feel closer to Tala, who passed away at the beginning of the film. The necklace becomes symbolic to Moana, perhaps making her feel loved, reminded of her grandmother's guidance, and less homesick when she's at sea. The necklace will return in Moana 2, perhaps playing a similarly significant role by carrying Simea's essence instead of Te Fiti's. In the most recent special look, Simea places a starfish from Motunui shores within that very same necklace. The starfish takes the place of Te Fiti's heart, and I believe it represents numerous things for Moana that are crucial to her character. Symbolically, the starfish should represent Moana's heart and everything she's fighting for. It will act as a reminder to Moana, including memories of Simea and the people she's left behind on Motunui. I think it would be uplifting and inspiring if Moana turned to that starfish when the chips were down, using the memories it conjures to gather her inner strength. That way, when all hope seems lost at the climax of the film, Simea will be the thing that forces Moana to push forward. There's not much that such a young child can do when traveling across the sea and battling with gods, but there's no reason that Simea can't be a source of strength for her older sister. Not only can she remind Moana that there are people waiting for her back home, but she represents the next generation of wayfinders who depend on Moana to reunite their people. From the way the sisters interact in the trailers, Simea clearly appears interested in her people's history and following in Moana's footsteps, and helping her guide her sister through her toughest trials yet could be her first step on that journey, even when they're miles apart.
So you can take a piece from home.
Number 2. Moana's purpose. One of the main themes of the original film was discovering personal identity and purpose. Moana's character compelled me because she found herself being forced into a role she didn't want or fit. Despite growing up on Motunui, where sailing past the reef was strictly prohibited, she couldn't ignore how the sea called to her, even when she tried changing herself to fit her parents' expectations. Moana goes so far as to carry a rock up the mountain, a tradition reserved for would-be chiefs to signify that they're ready for the responsibility of leadership. Unfortunately, Moana is only doing what her parents think is best because she's unhappy on Motunui and desperately wants to sail like her ancestors did. She's eventually pushed to heed her calling after the death of her grandmother, but fate was in her favor as the sea had chosen Moana to restore Te Fiti's heart. Moana's childhood connection to the sea guides her on this perilous journey, where she must learn to navigate and sail in the ocean. Fortunately, she makes it to her destination with the help of Maui, becoming the first Motunui wayfinder in generations. After returning to Fiti's heart and going home, Moana doesn't give up sailing. Instead, she welcomes her fellow villagers into the water and reintroduces them to the art of navigating and sailing past the island shores. However, Moana is still expected to become the chief of her people, especially as she reaches adulthood. In the sequel, 3 years have passed and everyone seems thrilled to see Moana return from a 3-day voyage. There's no doubt in my mind that she's their acting chief, but the burden of leadership must be heavy when she's constantly leaving on solo adventures or supply runs. If Moana is the chief, then she would be unable to direct her people, solve problems, or make critical decisions when away at sea, which I imagine could cause serious problems. Simea could be the solution. While she's still very young at the start of Moana 2, it may be her destiny to become the next chief of Motunui. Their people rely on a familiar hierarchy, meaning a chief will pass down their role to their children as Moana's father did to her. However, Moana is still a young adult and may not have children for several years, if she decides to have them at all. Without children of her own, the next person to become chief would have to be Tui's second child, Simea. If Simea chooses to become chief when she's of age, then Moana would have the freedom to sail when and where she pleases, while leaving her people in capable hands.
So, not seeing an entrance.
Yes, because it only appears after a human sacrifice.
Number 3. The film's themes. In a recent interview, film's chief creative officer Jennifer Lee and the co-director Dana Ledoux Miller shed some light on the story's recurring themes. Apparently, the themes will be explored mostly through Nalo, the main antagonist, and his view of humanity. Although he appears unimpressed by Moana and her crew in the most recent trailer, the film's creators insinuate that may be a false claim. Nalo is someone who believes humans are capable of anything so long as they remain united and work together. In my mind, this insinuates that Nalo may have once lost to a group of humans who somehow surpassed his powers. Nalo's fears of human connection, community, and unity is likely the catalyst for everything that happens in Moana 2, as he is the storm, the curse mentioned by Moni that prevents Moana from reuniting her people. I believe that humans standing together to overcome any obstacle will play an important role in the narrative, but in various nuanced ways. For example, without Moana there to watch over her people, everyone on Motunui may become endangered by Nalo, Matangi, and their influence. In the first trailer, we witness a lightning strike harm Moana and blast through a building on the island, which could have been Nalo directly attacking her. There's no reason Nalo couldn't send more tempests and raging storms to endanger the people of Motunui. However, they would have a higher survival rate if they kept cool heads and help one another through the storms. This is where Simea could come in. Inspired by how her older sister leads others and the troubled history of her people, Simea could provide a call to action in the film. When infighting begins and everything seems bleak, she can remind the people of Motunui how far they've come and that they've already survived living through one curse. Through words of encouragement and the support of her parents, Simea could remind her people that working together is the only way they'll endure Nalo's curse.
Giant hawk! So serious.
Number 4. A shared connection to the sea. Early on in the first film, the audience learns that Moana has a connection to the sea, which is a sentient creature capable of guiding and watching over her as a toddler. The sea picks Moana from a young age to help save Te Fiti, and their bond remains for the entirety of Moana's life, even when she was growing up and her father forbade sailing past the reef. Moana's connection to the sea was recognized and cultivated by her grandmother Tala, who continuously encouraged Moana to follow her heart. Moana's connection to the sea will continue in the sequel as it helps her navigate and maintain her ship. However, the sea also interacts with Simea like it does with Moana. There's one scene in the trailer where it ruffles Simea's hair, behaving like an old family friend. Moana witnesses the gesture and may encourage Simea's bond with the sea, like Tala had done for her. Moana can do this in many ways, but I think she encourages this bond by telling Simea the history of their people, so that Simea may carry on the legacy of the Wayfinders in the future.
I'll be back. I promise.
A good story wouldn't create characters without a purpose. A character without motivation, lessons worth learning, and personal stakes often feel flat and disinteresting to an audience. While it's entirely possible that Simea will become the driving force calling Moana home, I think she'd play a more interesting role if she helped Moana on her journey. Many signs point to Simea having a greater destiny, either by becoming the next chief of Motunui or sharing a profound connection with the sea. I can't wait to see how far she'll go when Moana 2 premieres in theaters.
You are gonna get us killed.
No, I'm gonna get us to Te Fiti, so you can put it back.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
Sail across the sea
I'm not killing myself so you could prove you're something
and
you're
restore
not.
the heart of Te Fiti.